In this video, I'm going to continue to listen to my subscribers' music and give my honest feedback and expert advice on how to improve these songs and take them to the next level. And this is going to be like a round 2 from my last video. So I'm going to be using the same names of people who submitted but who didn't get picked. And I'm going to do it a little bit different on this one. I'm not going to listen to the whole entire song just for the sake of brevity and so things don't get too long. And I'm going to mainly listen to like a verse, and if there's a hook in the song, I'll listen to the hook as well and give my feedback based on that, because that's typically enough for me to get a gist of what's going on, what can be improved upon, things of that nature. And if you're new here, my name is ColeMize, and I've been helping rappers perfect their rap skills on this YouTube channel for the past 9 years. Now, let's get straight to it. Here's our first spin. Ooh, okay. Zine M Rap. Zine M Rap. Congratulations. Let's check out this person's music.
Middle ground, where are you now? Middle ground, where are you now?
All right, off the top real quick, I just want to highlight this. I really like the vocal production already on this track. I like the layering of the vocals. So she starts off like a vocal stack on that first half of what you just heard, where it's just like her doing it in the same kind of tone. And then she does it in a higher tone on the next one. So it kind of gives it a shift in movement. Anytime we sing higher, it changes the perception of the energy. It makes the energy feel higher because we're singing in a higher pitch, higher tone. And I like that. And I also like the delay throws, the echoes and stuff that you hear that fill in the little gaps that are left from where words aren't being said. That's really nice. And I like the ambience, the reverb and stuff on the vocal. I feel like it fits the emotion of the instrumental.
Middle ground, where are you now?
So right there, there's at least two vocals going on right there. Same type of tone. It just makes the vocal thicker. She, with her being a female, not all females have high voices, but it gives more thickness to her voice. Like if there was no stack here, the vocal may feel like a little bit too thin, maybe a little bit too, not weak, but like needing just a little bit more body or more presence, if you will, thickness, if you will. And that stack, I think, really helps that kind of stand out. I like that a lot.
Where are you now?
I love those delay echoes, man. Those are nice.
Where are you now? Middle ground, where are you?
And that, when she goes up that octave higher right there, it just creates a nice shift. It's not stagnant. It's going somewhere, you know? Really nice. And we haven't even got into the rap verse yet.
I be searching for my middle ground. Done with the critical sounds. Living in the past so the future's better than now.
And we got a stack on the vocal here too. On the verse. Again, as good as it's providing that extra bit of support. Feels nice. And the thing about stacks, you got to be really careful with stacks. You got to make sure your timing is on point. You got to make sure your tone is on point. If you're trying to create a blend, stacks are difficult. You got to be so on point with that. And everything's sounding good so far. So let's keep it going.
Connecting with spirit, present moment, can you feel it? They say you have to in order to heal it. Come back and be steady because I'm ready to flow. Releasing the pulling towards the highs and the lows. I froze.
And I like the delay throws on some of these background vocals. But they're kind of repeating some of the rhymes here. And I think they're mixed in pretty well too. It's not like in your face. They're still kind of ambient. They're just still kind of filling in some of the gaps where she's taking breaths and pauses and stuff with her rap flow.
Highs and the lows. I froze in the face of my destiny prose. Our story's home of power that I know placebo. Reality shifting, affirming my vision. I'm chiller than Tizane. I'm brewing decisions. I'm sipping the wisdom assistance. Breaking systems.
Okay. I love that. I love that shift in the rhyme scheme right there, where she just started really rhyming a lot more internally with those rhymes. And so far, I'm really, really, really digging this. There's so many dynamics in this. And this is kind of what, if you guys ever see, I did a video called The 4-Bar Theory. It's been a few years ago. It's one of my more popular videos on my channel. And the theory that I'm sharing with that is basically like try to create some type of movement like every 4 bars. It doesn't have to be drastic, but just something. Don't let things drag or linger too much, because then it can start being like too predictable or too boring. If you change things too quickly, like every bar, every 2 bars, then it can be like too dynamic, and it's like there's nothing lingering around long enough for me to follow along to it and kind of make sense of it. So I think she's doing an excellent job with creating all these dynamics, but not doing it too much, you know, but constantly throwing little new things at you. So you're like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting, you know? So yeah, so far everything's working. And I'm also enjoying the quality of the recording, and the mix is sounding really good to me as well. Let's keep playing.
I'm sipping the wisdom of systems, breaking systems, the victims power humans, humanity catching on to expanded solutions. We only speak, then we repeat what we believe. And room to see there's more to every side than surface level thinking. So stop, go deep, and listen to the rhythm. Finding equilibrium amidst the great schism, like middle ground, where are you now? Balance, patience, become the alchemist.
All right, interesting. So this is where we started before the verse. And so this is building upon that, the middle ground. So it's almost like she started off with the hook, but not the full hook. Now we're like filling in the rest of it. Let me just take it back and kind of just take this one in.
Ism like middle ground, where are you now? Balance, patience, become the alchemist. Middle ground, where are you? Elevate your vibe, and synergize the rift. Middle ground, where are you now? Balance, patience, become the alchemist. Middle ground, where are you? Elevate your vibe, and synergize the rift. Eyes shut, breast drop.
All right, so we're into the second verse right here. So honestly, I don't really have any critiques. Like, I don't have anything I would say needs to be fixed or changed about this. Like, if this was a song I'm working on with a person, this is one of them times where I would sign off on it. I'm like, look, I think you need to send it. I think this is done. Actually, and this is done, obviously. She's done, hadn't even been talking about the music video and stuff like that. I'm just focusing on the music, you know. There's so many layers, you know, to anything we put out. You know, there's so many layers. The mix, the beat, the writing, the rapping, the structure of it musically, the delivery, all that. And then you got the music video. The music video is a whole nother thing that's working really, really good for this. Like, it's very well put together. But to me, this song is done. Like, this is like, send it out, very well put together. We're already on the second verse, right? And at no point in time have I felt like I'm bored. At no time have I felt like, ooh, I would have changed that, or what happened there, or anything like that. I haven't had any of those moments, honestly. And, you know, I'm not looking for them either. You know, like, when I listen to something, I'm not trying to be critical. I'm not trying to find something wrong with it. I'm just trying to listen as a listener until something bothers me. And then I focus on that thing that's bothering me. And up until this point, nothing has bothered me. Like, this has been a very enjoyable listening experience. I've been engaged from the beginning to the end. And I think this is perfectly done. And when I say perfect, you know, we could find flaws in anything if we dig deep enough. You know, that's something we struggle with a lot as artists, is we're so invested in what we're doing. We know every single little detail of what we've done. And most people won't hear that stuff, you know, to an extent, as long as it's nothing super obvious. But we know every little detail. We know everything we had to go through to get it to the point that it's at. And so a lot of times we can't, as creators, enjoy our stuff like someone listening to it the first time will. You know, it's like you watching a movie like Avengers or something like that. Just imagine the thousands and thousands of hours that went into this film, and you only spent maybe 2 hours watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a totally different experience. I love this. I think this is perfect. This is something I would sign off of and say, it's done. Send it, promote it. Now let the whole world know about it. So great job on this. Zen M. And everybody, I'm posting links to all y'all's music in the video description below. So everybody, feel free to reach out, support these artists, link up, collaborate, show love and support. But great job, Zen. You killed it, girl. Okay, let's spin again and see who the next person is going to be. Ooh, that was close. The Gift. Let's check out The Gift's music and see how it sounded.
Detroit, Michigan. Jesus Christ. King Kings. Lords. What kind of cross on this side?
I'm gonna hit your block. I'm gonna tell them about the name. I'm gonna rep boy, yeah, you should do.
All right, real quick. So if y'all been picking up on it, I'm a big fan of like vocal production and stuff. I love the vocals right here, how it's sounding. He started the intro like solo vocal, like, you know, no other vocals going on there, and then he hits you with all these stereo stacks, and you get that wideness. It just feels so much bigger coming in right there. Let me just play that back going into that.
What kind of cross on this side?
I'm gonna hit your block.
Yeah, I like that. That kind of reminds me of some like Young Jeezy, maybe some T.I., maybe even some Ludacris. But I don't know. I just love that sound. Let's keep going. And the quality sounds good too. The recording sounds really well done in the mix so far.
Tell them about the name. I'm a rep boy, yeah. You should do the same, yeah. They need to be up in that.
Hold on.
Yeah, you should do the same, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on your block. That vocal was dope. It pans to the left, to the right. So we got these stereo vocals stacked left, right, and then I'm on your block. I think that's what he said. I'm on your block, or I'm gonna hit your block. Another title of the song is I'm gonna hit your block. But anyways, that vocal, that was dope. How it panned from one side to the other. That was really good.
They need to be a bit.
Take it back a little bit.
I'm gonna tell them about the name. I'm a rep boy, yeah. You should do the same, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on your block.
They need to be up in that word, but they can't receive it if they never heard. So I'm gonna hit your block.
Yeah.
The name. I'm a rep boy, yeah. You should do the same, yeah. They need to be up in that word, but they can't.
And you know, like, there's anticipation building, right? Because it already has like this anthem build, and we just waiting for that 808 to drop, that bass to drop, and it's probably about to come up here. This is riding.
If they never heard, so I'm gonna hit your block.
There it goes.
I'm gonna hit your block.
Wow, there's a lot going on. But now we got some melodic vocals that are in the background, primarily on the high end, high frequency end, tucked in the back. So it's almost like a pad instrument or something. You know, it's not meant to be in your face, and it just fills it in even more. And I'm just loving how it just keeps stepping up and stepping up and stepping up, you know, in energy and just the fullness of it. That's dope. Let me take it back. I want to take that ride again. Let me take that ride back up to that top floor.
I'm gonna tell them about the name. I'm a rep boy, yeah. You should do the same, yeah. They need to be up in that word, but they can't receive it if they never heard. So I'm gonna hit your block. I'm gonna hit your block. Hit your block, boy, you know what I represent. Spirit flowing through me, I'm gonna show you the evidence. The Bible, my reference, my life, that's a testament. Applying pressure, standing for truth, never hesitant. A new creature, call me a specimen. In the word daily, call it the regiment. Gonna taste and see the Lord is good, he heal you like some medicine. I pray that when it come to winning souls, I'm a specialist.
All right, now we're playing around with a little bit of early swing. Let me take it back to the beginning of the verse. So something I have felt is I felt like the lead vocal on the verse was getting buried just a little bit in the mix. And I don't know, it could be a bias because I just got done hearing all those vocals. But let me play that back again.
I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna hit your block.
And then the instrumental's it dials back a lot on the instrumental too, so it leaves room for the vocal right here. So we really should hear that vocal come through.
I'm gonna hit your block, boy, you know what I represent. Spirit flowing through me, I'm gonna show you the evidence. The Bible, my reference, my life, that's a testament. Applying pressure, standing for truth, never hesitant. A new creature.
Yeah, it wasn't like the entire vocal. It just felt like at times, like once that kind of plucked instrument right there that came in, that's when I started feeling like the lead vocal was getting a little bit buried just on certain words.
I'm gonna show you the evidence. The Bible, my reference, my life, that's a testament. Applying pressure, standing for truth, never hesitant. A new creature.
It may have just been more from a delivery standpoint, like as far as how the actual tone of the voice sounded. Maybe that's what it was.
My reference, my life, that's a testament. Applying.
Like testament, like the end of testament, it falls down. And it may have been a delivery thing where the voice could have been projected a little bit more to kind of carry that word and keep it going strong right there. It's my testament. Like let that mint come out a little bit more and hit you.
What I represent, spirit flowing through me, I'm gonna show you the evidence. The Bible, my reference, my life, that's a testament. Applying
Yeah. I think it's a delivery thing. So that's something to focus on, just delivery wise, making sure those words boom hit you, especially the rhymes, which the testament is a rhyme. Making sure that rhyme really pokes out and hits you in the chest.
Standing for truth, never hesitant. A new creature call me a specimen. In the word daily, call at the regiment. On taste and see the Lord is good, he heal you like some medicine. I pray that when it come to winning souls, I'm a specialist.
I like how you switch your flow up right here with this early type of kind of trap or kind of contemporary type of trap style.
You would think I'm in a gang house, but the flag cross. Yeah, I'm coming for the lost. Kingdom business, he the boss.
You think I'm in a gang high, but the flag cross. Yeah, I'm coming for the lost. Kingdom business,
I'm gonna hit your line. I'm gonna tell them about the name. I'm gonna rap.
That's cool how you did that chopped and screwed voice right there. A lot of vocal production, a lot of mixing that went into this track to get it to sound like it does.
Oh yeah, you should do the same. Yeah. They need to be up in that word, but they can't receive it if they never heard. So I'm gonna hit your blind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them about the name. I'm gonna rap, boy.
So now we're back into the hook. So really, man, these submissions I'm playing today is really good, man. Like production value is really high, quality, recording quality, mixing quality, all that stuff's really high. Yeah, and so with this one, my only critique would just be on the delivery side of things, just to make sure that those words really pop out more on the performance side of things. There are some things you could do, like it's from a mixing standpoint, like with volume automation, but really, that could be a piece of it. But I think it's more in the delivery. Just make sure those words are really coming through. Because I felt like the hook, the vocals was really strong. And there's a lot of vocals in the hook, so there's a lot of supportive stuff in there. So, this could be a thing where the verse just needs maybe a little bit more attention on some of those words. I don't know if there is a stack on the verse.
I'm gonna hit your block, boy, you know what I represent. Spirit flow.
Yeah, it don't feel like the vocal is stacked on that second verse. If it is, it's really subtle. So it could just be like spot stacks, maybe like on that was it testament or testimony or something? Whatever that word was, I can't remember, but like just hitting spot stacks on certain words that maybe just need a little bit more oomph to them. But that's really it. I mean, like other than that, bro, that's fire. That's very well put together. Very well, man. So shouts out to you, The Gift. Man, you're doing great, man. Keep it up, bro. Okay, let's see who the third person is going to be. All right, Daniel Vish. I'm just gonna call you Daniel because I'm about to butcher that last name. 6,500. Let's check you out.
I'm feeling up about it. Yeah, I'm speeding off Bugatti. Eating sushi off the body. Keep the whole team on my back. Do my pull-ups, never slack. Leave for work, come home, I clap. Live in penthouse.
So real quick, just from a mix perspective, the vocal's a little bit buried. That snare is way up top. I talked about this in my last video, like mixing wise. I can hear the voice. It's just that snare is so in your face. Where the vocal just kind of takes a back seat a little bit.
It's not no I'm feeling up about it. Yeah, I'm yachty. Yeah, I'm feeling yachty. Yeah, I'm feeling up about it. Yeah, I'm speeding off Bugatti. Eating sushi off the body. Keep the whole team on my back. Do my pull-ups, never slack. Leave for work, come home, I clap. Live in penthouse, not no trap. Walk around like cyberpunk. Got the keys up in the trunk. Got the
I would say, okay, from a mixing
yachty. Yeah.
From a mixing perspective, the mix on this is pretty fatiguing. Like if you were to cut this up really loud, it's gonna start stabbing you in the ears. All those high frequencies, the hi-hat, that snare, and there's like a sound effect that kind of comes in, kind of like a stereo sound effect that's really piercing. So from a mixing perspective, that's something I would really pay attention to, trying to dial that in and trying to make it to where it's not as piercing and stuff like that. Sometimes we run into this issue when we're mixing. I'm not going to get on a side tangent about mixing, but sometimes we make things a little bit too bright because we have way too much bass in our room, or we got it cranked up too loud. And so that bass is really just kind of building up in the room. And then we try to crank that high end up so we can hear more of it. And when all actuality, that's not representing how it's actually going to be heard. And that's the trickiest thing about mixing, is hearing things accurately, knowing what your speakers are supposed to, how things are supposed to sound in your speakers. And so that's why you gotta be careful when we're like mixing too loud, because those frequencies are just building up and you're not hearing the mix accurately. You're just hearing echoes all in the room building up, boom, boom, boom. And that bass takes forever to dissipate and go away. and will typically crank the high end up too much for that reason. But I digress. But that's the only thing right now from a mixing perspective. Let me just focus on the rap stuff.
Feeling up about it, yeah, I'm speeding off Bugatti, eating sushi off the body. Keep the whole team on my back, do my pull-ups, never slack. Leave for work, come home, I clap. Live in penthouse, not no trap. Walk around like cyberpunk. Got the keys up in the trunk, got the baddie in the bed. Wake me up and give me head. What you know about the bass I read? What you know about the math I did? I got 790 SAT, now I'm whipping up an SRT.
So one thing that was kind of raising his hand to me a little bit was towards the end of that last piece right there, the cadence scheme that you had going and the rhyme scheme pattern, it didn't feel complete. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad like it sounded like terrible or something like that, but it didn't feel like it got finished.
What you know about the bass I read? What you know about the math I did? I got 790 SAT, now I'm whipping up an SRT.
That SIT, that rhyme, yeah, the rhyme drifts a little bit. So when you rhyme with this part,
you know about the math I did. I got the bass I read. What you know about the math I did? I got 790 SAT, now I'm whipping up an SRT.
Yeah, the T's is what it was. I think that's all that it was the rhymes drifted a little bit right there. Not a super big deal, nothing too crazy. Let me keep playing.
Screwing up in virtual web. I'm on top, I'll never slip. Pissed up, not padding. I'm at home playing, not batting. Little bitch, remember Lynn. Never switch through hell I've been. With the bitch that's really high. Piss one man, cause his is mine. That boy simping, girls a thought. Get my money, got a lot. Many things about my bling. Bitch so cold, so did that thing. Yeah, my phone never stopped the rain. Some of the stones inside the sling. Some of the girls inside my home. I pick one to get me dumb. They want me, but by myself, I do wrong. On the shelf, I got the keys. Got me the foes like birds and bees. I'm Heisenberg, I get a cook. If she with me, then she good looking.
Again, like towards the end, it kind of felt incomplete again. I'm just going after how I felt. Now I'm going to get a little bit more analytical about it. Let's take it back a little bit.
They want me, but by myself, I do wrong. On the shelf, I got the keys. Got me the foes like birds and bees. I'm Heisenberg, I get a cook. If she with me, then she good looking.
Turn the time to bring the block up in your tissue. Yeah. I felt like you should have rapped like one more bar. So I think some of what's going on here is I think you may not be keeping track. I don't know. Like overall, I thought you did really good with the flow and everything. But I think you may. Okay, either two things are going on. One, you're just intentionally trying to break the rules, which I have no problem with. I encourage you all, learn the rules, then break them, okay? But what may be going on is you may not be keeping track of the length of your pattern. So a lot of us, when we write our lyrics, it's just like one block of stuff. And so you may, when you do it like that, you may not be aware of how everything is structured musically. So typically in music, we do things in even numbers, and that's what makes them feel complete. So like 4 bars, for an example, if we keep like a rhyme scheme going for 4 bars and you switch it for another 4 bars and stuff, it'll always feel complete. Or if you do it like 2 bars and then 2 bars, switching it every 2 bars, that can still feel complete. But if you do something for like 3 bars, or 7 bars or something like that, it'll feel incomplete. So keep track of that. Like take your lyrics and like actually break it down to where the first syllable that lands on the beginning of every bar, let that be the first syllable that's on your page. And so if you don't say anything on the first beat, notate it like with a pause or something to notate that's where you're taking a pause, and then put a space every 4 bars so you can have a visual break and you can easily keep track of how many bars you have, 4, 8, 12, 16. And then from there, look at how your rhyme schemes are structured and stuff. And that'll make it a lot more obvious as far as like the length of things. And that's something that's going on with your stuff. Every now and then there'll be like an odd number rhyme scheme or something where it feels like incomplete. Or in this case, it was like an odd number of bars. So like when you started rapping at the end, it felt like you should have probably rapped one more bar and that would have completed that rhyme scheme and made it all feel complete. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I thought you had a really good timing with your flow. The words didn't come through as much because of the mixing stuff I was talking about. But other than that, I think that's all that I have for that track. So off to a really good start with that stuff, and just see if you can dial in some of that mixing stuff and the structuring stuff. And again, you may be doing it intentionally. If you are doing it intentionally, keep it up, because I encourage you guys to learn the rules, then break them, go crazy. All right, so let's check out the next one. All right, DJ Throwback. Let's see what you popping like.
Yeah. Yo. Word up. Target practice 2.0.
It's getting some boom bap East Coast vibes. Almost reminds me of some Slaughterhouse or something like that. Like I'm vibing with this. Nasty. Nasty sounding. Dirty. Grungy. Grimy. Let's get it.
DJ Throwback. Huh? Yeah. MIC.
Demon in combat.
Word up. You know we had to do it again, right, son?
For sure.
Let's set it off then.
Okay. Throwing combat, man, we at it again. Yo, that TP2, we spitting lyrics again. It's me against the world, but I don't live a thug life. I push my way out the cracks of the darkness. So now I shed light to my life. All eyes on me. Yup, some paid on my downfall. Hoping that I stumble to a back.
All right, so something I'm feeling right now is I feel like the voice could be a little bit more grungy. You know, maybe like a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And like a little bit more of that factor. It feels like a little bit clean. And I want to hear a little bit of like nastiness, man. Like with this type of track, a little bit more grungy. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit, like a sprinkle of DMX in there. You ain't got to go full, you know what I mean? You ain't got to go full DMX with it. But like a little bit more on that vocal, man. Like I want to hear some more of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
Roll crabs, just like Gary. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Demon in combat.
Put my grass on the blast.
You know we had to do it again, right, son?
Straight top
Sure.
blast on the grass on my culture. Yeah.
Set it off then.
You know what I'm saying?
Throwing combat, man, we at it again. Yo, that TP2, we spitting lyrics again.
Yeah.
It's me against the world, but I don't live a thug life. I push my way out the cracks of the darkness. So now I shed light to my life. All eyes on me. Yup. So
All right, so one other thing too was the rhyme scheme. Darkness and Thug Life didn't rhyme with each other, so that was kind of raising its hand to me a little bit about that rhyme scheme. Let me take it
Word
back.
up.
Take it back.
You know we had to do it again, right, son?
Come on.
sure.
Let's set it off then.
Okay. Throwing combat, man, we at it again.
Again.
Yo, that TP2, we spitting lyrics again.
Again.
It's me against the world, but I don't live a thug life.
Thug
I
life.
push my way out the cracks of the darkness. So now
Yeah.
I shed light to my
Yeah, so that rhyme scheme didn't hit. And I think the first two rhymes were the same word. All right, so far right now, I want to hear a little bit more on the rhyming side of things.
all eyes on me. Yup, some paid on my downfall. Hoping that I stumble to a barrel of crabs. Just like Gary from the corner, they kept pulling them down. They will never applaud your
All right,
act.
crabs down. Not an exact rhyme, but it's close enough. You can make the crabs down the I. You got the I sound kind of in both of them, so that's cool.
Efforts, but real quick for that handout. These newsstand brothers run around, talk my business. I forgive, but I never forget.
Yeah. Overall, like
Throw for that handout. These newsstand brothers run around, talk my business. I forgive, but I never forget. Throwback still what?
Yeah, he still walk with his head up.
Yeah, yo, just like a king do. Throwing combat, spitting royalty bars. Man, we two smooth brothers representing that hip hop. The 70s and 80s, we both on the same track.
Yeah, so overall right now, the rhymes are disappointing. That's something to certainly focus on. The rhymes, and I want to hear more energy. I don't really feel like you're feeling your lyrics. Like I want to hear you, like man, like bro, I'm coming with it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the lyrics themselves, from a lyrical standpoint, need a little bit more work. Be more careful with the words that you're choosing for your rhyme schemes. Get them closer rhyming with each other. Like as far as like hip hop rhyming and stuff, rhyming is like that's like our crack. You know, we gotta have them rhymes, and the rhymes are lacking right here. And so we gotta really step the rhyming up. So I would definitely focus on that. You know, one tool that's great to use is like you can use a rhyming dictionary. So like there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever your rhyme is, like take whatever word is like landing typically around the end of the bar. That's what we call an end rhyme. So typically we place a rhyme around the fourth beat, which is the second snare of the bar. All right, figure out what that word is that you're trying to rhyme with, and then use something like a rhyming dictionary, like Rhyme Wave is a good one. Rhyme Zone is another one. Use like something like that and just type in whatever that word is and see if you can just create you a whole list of words out of it and then pick from that. But that's definitely something that can be improved upon. The flow itself, I don't think is bad. it's mainly the rhymes and the delivery that's holding it back right now. I want to hear, especially over a track like this, I want to hear more energy. I want to hear more grittiness, more confidence. And I want them rhymes to pop a lot more. Let me just play it a little bit further. I think we got another rapper coming in right here.
Two smooth brothers representing that hip hop, the 70s and 80s. We both on the same track. Combat, that's my comrade. Target practice is a concept, spitting intricate, slick raps.
Now the rhymes are getting better right here. Like there's also more internal rhyming. This is definitely picking
track,
up.
The 70s and 80s, we both on the same track. Combat, that's my comrade. Target practice is a concept, spitting intricate, slick raps. Throwing combat, this our comeback. Two diplomats that representing that hip hop.
Yeah, DJ Throwback, MIC, Target Practice, 2.0, baby. Listen, hey yo, combat. The rhyme delegates penning it like an intelligent relative of life. Imperative, so it's also very relevant to write. So I sketch it like a.
All right, so I think this is actually you, right? DJ Throwback. This is where you're rapping right here. All right.
Listen, hey
so
yo.
Maybe this is what I should have been paying attention to.
Hey yo, combat. The rhyme delegates penning it like an intelligent relative of life. Imperative, so it's also very relevant to write.
All right, now this is a whole nother level. This is a whole freaking nother level what's going on right here. It's a huge contrast between the first verse and the second verse. And you could tell you're way more experienced on the rhyming side of things. Like it's a whole nother level from the first verse.
I sketch it like an author with many connected arts sitting in my mind while collecting pennies for your thoughts. I'm the remedy, the steady-headed, metaphoric, esoteric, energetic soldier.
And the energy again. So this is lining up. This is lining up. I'm hearing the freaking lyrics coming through. I'm hearing that confidence coming through. Like you know that you murking this track. This is what I was wanting on that first verse.
Poetic, the time to document it. Time to read it or read it. Apply the pressure when needed. Combine the method of teaching to add extra ingredients. The way to test ya. Hope you ready when the return hits ya. I send a charge like third rails and war missiles. The fire burns like Mississippi and Cali.
You got the missile. I like the sound effects going there, like the bombs just
Witness
dropped.
the battle of soldiers against a pack of squares. I smoke the microphone. Ashes appear. Competition busting the squares. I smoke the microphone. Battle of soldiers against a pack of squares. Smoke the microphone, ashes appear. Competition busting the lateral, they scattering fear. I'm a visionary, a radical, attacking the snare from a moment in time, way back but capturing airs. Let's go.
Woo, Jesus, I'm glad I kept playing it, man. Because here's my thoughts though on the overall track. That first verse is a little bit weak. It is. The first verse brings this track down, and when you're playing a song for somebody, that's their first impression. You see what I'm saying? And like if they're just listening to the song or they're just scrolling through thousands of songs and trying to pick what they're listening to, that first verse is bringing it down. Someone may not get to that second verse. You see what I'm saying? And so from a producer standpoint, like if I'm producing this song, I'm like, we have to address that first verse. That first verse does not match the skill of that second verse. They're like totally different. Just being honest. So like, you know, my heart is I'm always trying to do what's best for the track. You know what I'm saying? And that's always been my heart, even from back in the day when I first started rapping with other rappers. I was like super like putting a lot of pressure on myself because I never wanted to bring a track down, you know. And sometimes we have to have those uncomfortable conversations like, bro, that verse needs some more work, bro. If we're gonna call this a done deal before we send it, we got to work on that verse some more, you know. And maybe you can help out the person on the first verse. Help them out, bring it out a little bit more if they're open to that. You know what I'm saying? I know that can be, especially with rap, it could be very competitive and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I think, man. That first verse is bringing the track down. That second verse was fire. Those are my thoughts, my honest to God reaction, just keeping it a buck. All right. So thank y'all so much for that submission. Thank you, DJ Throwback, for that one. Let's see who the fifth and final person is going to be for today. Okay, CJ Patton, Gymnastics. Let's check you out. Get some soul vibes up of this one. Could be like a boom bap type of track, I think.
was born with a hole in my brain, like a full frontal lobotomy. Cause honestly, I got a lot of these thoughts dropping out of me as if they cannot be contained. Is this what it means to be insane? Conversations with myself, I swear it's not that strange. See, I'm not alone, I'm two-faced. Carry more baggage than can fit in a suitcase. Come undone easier than a shoelace. Always running from my problems at a loose pace. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin, you'd think it was a new place. I don't belong, I'm sorry I came. It's time I return to the hole in my brain. I think I was born from the hole in his brain. He calls me a monstrosity, but it honestly doesn't bother me. It's just because...
Yeah. So I think you're off to a really good start. I think you're doing a pretty good job with structuring your rhyme schemes and stuff like that. One thing that's still somewhat of an issue is you still need a little bit of work on the engineering side of rapping. The engineering side is the problem solving part of rapping. And so there's parts where your words are like just having to be kind of crammed in there to make your rhymes land where you want your rhymes to land. And so that's taken away from the musicality of your rap flow. And so when those things happen, we need to look at those parts and say, okay, look, got a lot of words I need to cram in here. It's not sounding musical, so let me dial it back some. So one way that we can dial it back is if there's a pause like before a part like that, you can actually shift where you start rapping and maybe come into slightly earlier. That'll give a little bit more space for those things that are kind of getting cramped, and then you can make them sound more musical. Or you can just rephrase that whole line to where you're saying the same thing in fewer syllables, basically. And I have videos talking about this and stuff like that, but that's one thing that's going on. It's not bad though. The verse wasn't bad. I feel like the delivery could been a little bit stronger at parts. Let me just play it back a little bit going through this.
I'm awesome. See, we are not the same. I think I was born with a hole.
And another thing that kind of raised its hand to me a little bit is about the instrumental too. Like the instrumental jumps a lot from like the beginning part right here. If I play this part, right? And then it jumps to this part right here. Not this part, coming after. It's like a hard cut. Not yet. Right here. That part. It's like a totally different kind of loop, kind of sample. And then it cuts off again right here when the verse comes in. Right here.
I think I was born with a hole in my brain, like a full frontal lobotomy. Cause
that's a separate issue, but not horrible, but I feel like those transitions could have been a little bit smoother the way it was kind of blending or not blending those different parts in together. But let me just listen to the rap part here.
A lot of these thoughts dropping out of. I think I was born with a hole in my brain, like a full frontal lobotomy. Cause honestly, I got a lot of these thoughts dropping out of me as if they cannot be contained. Is this what it means to be insane? Conversations with myself, I swear it's not that strange. See, I'm not alone, I'm two-faced. Carry more baggage than can fit in a suitcase. Come undone easier than a shoelace. Always running from my problems at a loose pace. I'm so uncomfortable in my own.
Yeah, and you have energy. Like, it's not like you're not rapping with energy, but from a delivery standpoint, I would spend like a little bit more time on these sections. Like, I'm not sure exactly how you recorded it. But to me, it kind of sounds like it was recorded like in one take. So it has like this kind of rawness to it. I would focus like on 4-bar sections and practice saying those 4 bars with more energy on like certain words. I want to see if I can just point out something specific to you, because I know that's a little bit kind of general and generic or whatever, but.
And you think it was a new plane. Conversations with myself, I swear it's not that strange. See, I'm
strange, right? Strange sound like you was kind of running out of breath a little bit there, and you had to kind of get on with the next word. Let's take it back.
Alone, tamed. Is this what it means to be insane? Conversations with myself, I swear it's not that strange. See, I'm not alone.
See, if you punched in, if you just recorded up until strange, you could have held strange a little bit longer and not had to pull back a little bit, and then you could have punched in and came in a little bit on the tail end of strange, and that'll make that sound a lot more polished. And again, there's nothing wrong with sounding raw though. Let me just kind of bring balance to what I'm talking about. So sometimes we're going after more of a raw type of vibe, and so there's nothing wrong with that either. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing this, but if I was producing a track, I tend to like try to make things a little bit more polished sounding. But let me just play through again.
Carry more baggage than could fit in a suitcase. Come undone easier than a shoelace. Always running from my problems at a loose pace. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin, you'd think it was a new place.
And like my own skin, it kind of gets a little bit weak on that part, and it could pop out. In my own skin,
I don't belong, a loose pace. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin, you'd think it was a new place. I don't belong, I'm sorry I came. It's time I return to the hole in my brain. I think I was born from the hole in his brain. He calls me a monstrosity, but it honestly doesn't bother me. It's just...
And the honesty, it doesn't bother me. That's another one of those things where I was talking about the engineering part of rapping, where it doesn't sound as musical. It can sound a little bit better.
Just because I'm awesome, see, we are not the same. Doesn't bother me. It's just because I'm awesome, see, we are not the same.
And like the part where you say it's because I'm awesome, see.
Because I'm awesome, see, we...
Like that could use more energy. It could use more personality. It's because I'm awesome, see. Like, you know, something different. It's because I'm awesome, see. It's because I'm awesome, see. You know, something to give it a little bit more personality. It feels like a little bit, almost like you're just kind of reading off the paper a little bit right there.
We are not the same. Atrocity, but it honestly doesn't bother me. It's just because I'm awesome. See, we are not the same. How can I make it?
We are not the same. We are not the same. We are not the same. Like, there's a lot of more interesting ways you can kind of experiment with saying that part too.
Plain. He wants to bring the thunder, well, I provide the rain. If his ass requires fire under, I ignite the flame. See, I'm the one who made him, to be Frankenstein. He wanted a voice, so I made it rhyme. He couldn't.
And that part too, I love what you're doing here with your flow right here. This could just use more personality, because I think it deserves more personality. I think it has a lot of character from the musical side right here, but it needs a little bit more on the delivery side to match that.
Couldn't have known how much flame. See, I'm the one who made him, to be Frankenstein. He wanted a voice, so I made it rhyme. He couldn't
made him mine.
Couldn't have known how much I would take in time. He wanted a voice, but I made it mine. Rapping this passionate just doesn't happen. You can't have a rap if you're happy and laughing. I added some sadness and handed him talent. I'm trapped in my talons. I'm dragging his ass back up to the attic where he was ecstatic until he imagines a rap so dramatic that everyone will know his name.
Now that part, I know obviously you're going for the fast rap flow part, but it's not quite working. One of the reasons why it's not working, one, from a musical standpoint, it sounds a little bit off from a musical standpoint. Two, I think it's the actual combinations of words that you're using is not working very well together. So things are getting slurred. So you're losing some of the clarity, which, I mean, is kind of already a trade-off when you rap fast. But kind of the trick to rapping fast is having a healthy combination of stressed and unstressed syllables. If you get a chance, search ColeMize How to Rap Fast. I did a video talking about this, man. It's been some years ago now, but like if I were to rap to you right now, better watch out what you think, never know what happens exactly inside. Metaphysics, or is it a cryptic monolithic casket of lies? Like, that's some lyrics I did for that lesson. And it's a little bit more clear than what you're rapping, because I use more of a healthy combination of stressed and unstressed syllables. Unstressed syllables, you can say fast and it still sounds clear. When you try to rap too many stressed syllables back to back, those stressed syllables need to be held longer, so they're getting slurred because you're cutting them off so short. And so there's limitations to how far we can push certain words before they start sounding unnatural or unclear. Our brains are pretty good with filling in like holes or filling in like gaps, but we have to have enough of that word to hear it to fill it in. And some of that's being lost in that part where you rap fast. Let me just play this a little bit further.
So be good and return to the hole in your brain.
I like the deep voice part. I love that. I'm just kind of riding out right here.
It's time for change.
And then with that gap in there, I would probably try to fill some stuff in there, but I'll stop playing it from right here with some final thoughts on this. I think you got a lot of really good stuff going on though. Like, you have a lot of diversity in your flow, which I love. You don't sound stagnant. You're not trying to rap the same way the entire way through. So focus on the engineering part, not letting the words take away from the flow too much, but also don't let the flow be the main focus. That's the balance we have to keep. If you focus too much on flow, then you can cause the lyrics to start taking a back seat. The goal is to make them both work perfectly together. And so sometimes we kind of push from both angles. We may go back to the flow and tweak that a little bit. We may go to the lyrics and alter the lyrics a little bit and keep making those fine adjustments until they both work better together. So I think the engineering part could be improved. But from a lyrical standpoint, bro, I love what you're doing from a writing standpoint too. Like, this is very, it's very interesting. It's very fun. It's very the premise is very interesting. And I really like that. The writing is very captivating. The message itself is very captivating. It's just sometimes because of how things are getting crammed in there, the message is getting lost a little bit there. And also, like I was talking about with the rapping fast part, getting lost there. And then at times I feel like the delivery is not there to match the personality of what you're doing from a lyrical standpoint and also from a cadence standpoint. Like, you're doing some pretty cool, interesting stuff from a cadence standpoint, and the delivery needs to come through. I want to hear, like, this is very cartoonish, if you will, or very, I guess you could say comedic. It has a fun element to it. And I want to hear some more of that personality come through in your delivery to match that. Listen to some Eminem, you know, like Slim Shady, like from his Slim Shady LP. He has this track on there called "The World Keeps Turning," I believe it is. And that's, to me, that's a song that's it's like you're listening to a comic book. Like, you know, it's a crazy, outlandish, fictitious story. The premise is crazy, but it's so over the top, cartoonish. Listen to his voice, listen to the stuff he's doing in there, get some ideas from that. But I think this is a really solid premise and a lot of solid stuff going on here. But those are some of the things that you can focus on to take it to the next level. Thanks again to everybody who submitted their music. I'll be posting links to all their stuff in the video description below. Feel free to hit each other up, collaborate, network, whatever. Keep the conversation going. My name is ColeMize with ColeMizeStudios.com, where I strive to make you a better rapper now. And if you're new here, make sure you get a free copy of my ebook, The #1 Fundamental to Rapping, via the link in the video description below. And subscribe to this channel for more straight to the point, no BS, how to rap video tutorials just like this one. And always remember, when it comes to rapping, there's no rules, there's only techniques. Peace. Hey man, you see that subscribe button right there? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, and don't forget the bell icon. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Hey, I know you see that like button, right? Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. And look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, today I'm gonna kill it.